of this team. I think there's been so many questions about who's accountable, and I think it's now time for Steve Smith to get whatever he needs to get the result that this country needs, that Australian sport needs. At the end of the day, and I guess this is probably one of the things that was hard for me to deal with as captain of Australia, was that you're always questioned about your friendships, about, you know, did you cost yourself relationships or friendships through your career by making tough decisions? And yes, I probably did, but my goal and my job as Australian captain was to win games of cricket. When I took over the Australian captaincy, we were ranked 5 in the world, and my goal was clear. I've got to get this team and this country, with the help of a lot of other people, back to #1 in the world. And I think that's the position Steve Smith is in now. He's got to make some tough decisions. He's got to take ownership. That bus that's in that change room that's driving, he now steers it with both of his hands, gets what he wants and what he needs if he's not getting that. And he says, I'm accountable. If we continue to lose, then it's my job on the line. At the moment, I feel like the accountability is it Pat Howard? Is it Rod Marsh? Is it Darren Lehman? Is it Steve Smith? Steve Smith's performances as a player are unbelievable. He's leading the way as a player. But now this is where he's going to be tested as a captain. His leadership now is going to be tested in how he turns this around from how poorly we've been playing for the last 5 test matches to getting back to where Australian cricket needs to be.
Chaps, the system back in your day was very different. There weren't so many cooks around, so the captain, it really did fall with you, and you had to run the ship.
I feel very fortunate that I did captain when I did, because I only had to tell one guy to butt out, and that was if the manager decided to stick his nose into the cricket side of the business. But Michael's quite right. I mean, the thing I'd be, if I was Steve Smith, the thing I'd be saying to the rest of these hangers-on is, hey, when the W's and the L's, i.e. the wins and the losses, when they go against your name, you can take control. But as long as they're going against my name, I'm going to do it my way, with, as you say, with the help of the senior players and your vice captain. But I'm going to do it my way. If it's not good enough, well, then you sack me. But don't give me the title without the power. And yeah, he's really going to have to take control. It's going to be a difficult job. I think. Since the Argus review, I think we've been digging a big hole, and it's just got deeper and deeper. Hopefully we've hit the bottom now, because you've got to hit the bottom before you can bounce back up. But going down the route of old debutants the whole time leads you to a dead-end path, and we've hit that dead end now. And I don't think the selectors have any choice but to go for some youth, and they've got to take a punt. They've got to say, well, I think this guy can bowl, I think this guy can bat, let's put him in there, give him a chance, and we've got to hope that it works. And there may be some pain for a while, but we're experiencing pain now as it is anyhow. So I think they've got to take that punt.
In saying that as well, Steve Smith might be getting exactly what he wants. I don't know that. None of us sit in the change room. But if he's not, he needs to make that tough call. And I know we spoke about it, we speak a lot about it in the commentary box. Us past players, I also believe, have a responsibility. We need to try and help this game get back to where it is. So our role is to see what we see and comment on it, so the viewers at home get as close to the player and the action as possible. But I want the Australian team to know that we are right here to help them. We are a part of that cricket family. If we can help in any way, our phone numbers haven't changed. We're at every single game, and you know, there's support staff and coaches, so we don't want to get in anybody's way. But if the Australian change room feels like they can use our services for anything to help them, we would love to help them. There's no doubt about it. We feel the pain as much as the players. We want to see Australian cricket get back to where it belongs.
Absolutely, it hurts. It really hurts indeed. In terms of making changes, there were 2 debutants in this game. You had Many, you had Ferguson, so the selectors were willing to make changes. What changes need to be made from here to the next test match? You're thinking more go down to youth?
Well, I don't think they've got any choice. And I mean, the system, what they've been doing hasn't been working. You know, with most of the debutants, I'm talking batsmen now, have been over 30. That hasn't worked. What bothers me is that the system, and I'm talking about the first-class system, I mean, the system that we grew up in and developed us, we were ready for, you know, you'd gone through all these different tests at first-class level before you got to the international arena. So you were ready. You know, your temperament probably needed a little more testing at the highest level. I'm not convinced that the current system you know, club cricket through to first-class cricket. Well, it's obviously not preparing guys properly for international cricket.
It's interesting, isn't it? I know you got picked to play for your country without playing too many first-class games. I got picked having played 10 games. So the selectors took a massive punt on young 20-year-olds, and fortunately it worked out. But you learnt the game out there at the international level. So we think of names. We've got like Hanscom gets bandied around, Bancroft, Patterson, Maddinson.
Yeah.
So there are names that we keep talking about. What worries me, though, is there's not enough form from these guys, and the selectors are waiting for them to do something. But are the youngsters putting their hands up?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a fair query, but there comes a point where the selector's got to back his judgment, and that's why you made a selector, because you do have a knowledge of the game, and you've got to look at a guy and say, look, I really